maxing out credit cards, getting hooked on blind boxes, frantically clearing out shopping carts, while the whole world chases the fleeting dopamine of buy, buy, buy. There is a group of people who experience extreme physical anxiety just by hitting the pay button. To outsiders, they seem cheap, stingy, or even borderline pathological. But is that really the truth? If you've ever felt deeply guilty after buying an absolute necessity or obsessively checked your bank balance even when you know you have plenty, you have to watch this video to the end. Because your reluctance to spend isn't being cheap at all. It's the highest level of survival instinct in your subconscious. Stop thinking you just don't know how to enjoy life. Behavioral finance has long exposed the truth. Your brain is running a top-tier defense system that 99% of people lack. Neuroscience reveals that for this group, known in psychology as tightwads, the heartache of spending is not just a metaphor. The moment you scan to pay, your insula, the brain region that processes physical agony, flashes wildly like a siren. Others extract dopamine from spending, but when you spend, your brain releases a life or death threat signal. You aren't boring. On a biological level, you are simply prioritizing absolute security over temporary pleasure. Rewind a few thousand years, and storing extra rations at home was the sole difference between surviving and starving to death. Has this survival logic, carved deeply into our DNA, really been brainwashed by capital into a psychological disorder in today's era of rampant consumerism? Dead wrong. It's clearly your evolutionary advantage. Why does your neighbor dare to finance a luxury car while you hesitate to even eat out? Psychology calls this your money script, your brain's foundational blueprint for wealth. Ordinary people regret purchases after the fact, but you possess superhuman predictive computing power, launching a sandbox simulation of anticipatory regret before the transaction even happens. Your prefrontal cortex is so hyper-efficient that it accurately flags a $100 dinner as a potential sniper attack on your future retirement. This isn't a system bug. It's the strongest risk control mechanism on Earth. Look closely and you'll notice. People living paycheck to paycheck love to say, "I just snagged that designer bag," while savers are always thinking, "My account just grew by another few grand." This game-changing shift in perspective proves that to you, money is never a social currency for showing off, but rather an anti-fragile trump card for controlling your own destiny. You don't need head-to-toe designer labels to keep up appearances. Your confidence is firmly welded to the ever-growing string of zeros in your bank account. Where does all that unspent money go? Research offers an incredible answer. The stingier people are, the stronger their long-term empathy. You aren't selfish at all. You're just betting all your love and chips on the safety of your future self and your family. What you seek is the absolute poise of, "I've got plenty of cash," deep in your soul, not the 3-second thrill of tearing open a package. Of course, for many, this fear of spending is also a battle-scarred defensive shield. Perhaps in your childhood, your parents constantly had hysterical fights over money. Perhaps you witnessed your family face disaster and fall into sudden poverty. From a young age, your brain was forced to engrave an iron rule. A zero balance equals eternal doom. Your stinginess is actually that wounded past version of you, reaching across time to protect the present you. Master psychologist Mihaly once proposed that true flow comes from creating, not consuming. While others spend 3 hours being fleeced at the mall, you are hustling, improving yourself, and building the moat of your life. In an era of universal overconsumption, being satisfied with what you already have is, in itself, a powerfully disruptive awakening. So, stop draining yourself mentally over your fear of spending. You aren't sick, nor are you missing out on the world. Your brain's reward mechanism, survival radar, and vision for life have already left ordinary people in the dust. Next time someone mocks you for being cheap or not knowing how to live, just smile to yourself. Remember, you aren't boring. You are simply and soberly playing an infinite game in a world hijacked by consumerism. And in this game, your ultimate goal isn't the latest piece of electronic junk, but one simple word: freedom.